Dave just got back with the RMS Racing 7X. So the 7X has been at Engler's getting all the magic done to the motor, and you know, ultimately it's a prototype motor. So today just gonna do some maintenance on it and get ready for the weekend. I-55 this weekend on the schedule. So Dave had been down at the dyno and we thought we needed to change the bearings in the bird cage because you pretty much just ratchet strap the thing down and it's hard on the bird cages. So pulled those off and just kind of greased up the bars and about to do the ball. Dave's doing maintenance on the motor and just going over everything for the weekend. Got that neutral.
In order to block the midget, you have to take the helper spring out. So that's what I'm doing here. I took the helper spring out. Now I'm just putting all the pieces back together, ready to set on the ground to the right height. Okay, same thing over here. You slide the spring off. That next collar I just took off there, I put that in place of the helper spring when I block the car. And then I just set the spring at neutral, and that is set at ride height. But you have to take it all back apart and put the spring back in there. You can see when I have a lot of spring pressure there when it's on block. That's why you can't block the car with the helper spring in there. The helper spring just helps the right front shock have a little bit of spring pressure on it. So look, when the car's riding around, as soon as the big spring isn't loaded, the corner's just kind of floating around there. So the helper spring takes up a lot of that slop and then helps the car continue to travel because it lets the spring help push the tire down. It's only 25 pounds, so it's not much.
We got the right springs in it. We got the right blocks underneath it now. And got the cables all hooked up, so front end is ready to go.
And it looks like Lacey got the bird cages done. Dave told me bird cage bearings are easy. You just give them to Lacey and she does it for you. So thank you.
A lot of time, most of the maintenance on the race car is really just cleaning parts and getting the dirt off of them because everything's greased up and lubed and ready to go, like these slider bolts, which is pretty important.
Your arms slide on this bolt, so it has to be greased up. I had an issue with the volume. As soon as you touch the car and the camera was clamped to it, the sound got all goofy. So I'm having to voice over stuff if you don't see my lips moving in sync.
And this is very important because this is that set screw I was talking about. That has to be in there. The one time I had this thing strip and fall out, this bolt backed out and then that wasn't good. So make sure that's in there or safety wire this bolt for sure.
So the right rear nut on the midget or a sprint car is reverse thread because when you gas it, it helps tighten it. This time I hit time lapse on the camera. So this ladder has 3 holes so you can adjust it to tighten or loosen it. If you go to the bottom hole, that frees the car up. If you go to the top hole, that tightens the car up in the slick. So then I turn the camera and I start talking about the rear end and the drive line are basically a T. And so when the rear end and drive line are square, the ball will be free and the ladder will be free. The ladder is jiggling. That's a good thing. That means it's free. And if the ball is also nice and free and loose and movable, that means the rear end is nice and square in the car, potentially.
So now we got the front end all blocked and ready to go with the right springs. We got the back all re-greased, new birdcage bearings. I'm gonna do the ball, re-grease it. It feels amazing, but it might as well. Good.
Now that we cleaned all the dirt and grease off it, we're just going to put some more grease on it. These guys like to use the white lithium grease. I use just rear end grease or wheel bearing grease, and then I put some rear end oil on it to kind of make it thin. Most of those have a little flat on the top. That way you always put them on the same, because you want them to go on the same because the ball kind of wears in a groove. Those are replaceable also.
Oh yeah. Look how pretty your nails are.
Ferrari red.
Ferrari red. Love it. Almost every single night it's gear change. Like everywhere we go, you know, it could be the same size track, but midgets are so gear sensitive that is like crucial. In the beginning I felt like that was where we were off, was we just didn't have notes at all the tracks, and then you know some of the other teams did. But nowadays we got 2-3 years into this, we kind of know what gears we need to be on where, and a lot of times even like what the track conditions were will change that. You know, the last time we were at I-55, I remember we got rained out, so it was heavy and it was rough, and so most likely we had a lot more gear in it than we need to if it's slick. So gotta factor in everything. Got all the maintenance done, got the car, the setup that I want in it. Now I am just getting ready to do some measuring, and man, I feel pretty productive today. I have, in 3.5 hours, reblocked the front, changed springs. We got birdcage bearings in it. Thanks to Lacey, changed those for me, but got the ball all re-greased, new set of springs on the back, stagger, set up, greased, and ready to go for I-55 this weekend.
So believe it or not, I don't block the rear of the car. I do it all off tape measure and ride heights. And so before I go to the racetrack, I set it on the concrete, I measure it out, I put my tilt in it, and I send it.
The magical numbers. There it is. I'm done for the day. As always, thanks for watching TmezTv. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't, thanks for watching anyway. If it don't fit, beat it with a hammer.
Hit it harder.
It fit because Lacey made it. I bent it, I'm sure. At Howerton's headers, they use water to make sure it's got the same CFM, mils, liters. Staggered tape.
About 3 inches.
That looks a lot better.
You want to go put a muff on it? I don't think.
The Angler Ford likes all of the exhaust.
Weld up or Tad can do it, Thomas can do it.
Oh yeah. That's where the raw horsepower comes straight at you.
Flapper on it.
Fucking a boat flap. Waiting on stickers on Justin's cars. When do stickers come soon?
It's supposed to be tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So this is the 2J and this is the other 2J.
Just 2 now.
Oh, it's just 2. Okay. You heard it first on TmezTv. The 2J is no longer the 2J, it's the 2.
Put a couple of J's off.
This is a brand new spike that Dave just got back from the dyno. Once Lacey gets the exhaust all done, I think that's pretty much everything on this other than the body and some Nerf bars. And with that, it is time for me to go get my kids off the bus. I get like 5.5 hours here. My little sister couldn't come watch the kids today after school, so I gotta go. Thanks for watching TmezTv as always. I'm out.